Hello, I'm Chef Rob Stinson, and on this episode of Fit to Eat, I'm cooking fish tacos with hot corned bean relish. I'll talk about trade-offs in using canned beans versus using dry beans, and I'll also teach you how to make your own healthy homemade salsa. All that and a healthy and delicious dinner, and we'll be right back. Let's start with my hot corned bean relish, but first, let's talk about the health benefits of using dry beans over canned. Let's take a look at the amount of sodium. In half a cup of white beans canned, 270 milligrams. In half a cup of red beans canned, 444 milligrams. Dry beans contain almost no sodium. So, allowing beans to soak overnight also helps to break down the indigestible sugars that cause gas. Dry beans are also cheaper than canned. A can of pre-cooked beans costs about $1.19 and yields about 2 cups. A cup of dry beans costs about $1.99 and yields about 8 cups. Comes out to a difference of about 35 cents a cup, and you can cook a whole pound at once, store serving sizes in a resealable storage bag, and freeze them. So it's really kind of a no-brainer which way you want to go on this. And I mean, they're easy to work with. You know, look at that. I mean, dry beans are simple, cost-effective, and healthier. So we're going to start off on this recipe and actually take some beans that I have already soaked overnight right here in front. And the very first thing we're going to want to do is obviously get the water off of those. And then we're going to start working on this hot corned bean relish. So let's bring a strainer over. Simple, simple, simple. All we're going to do is literally pour the water out, bring these into a drier state. And at this point, you want to mix them. Let's get them all mixed together. And the trick as well now at this point is we're going to move over to our saute pan and spray that pan with a little zero fat spray. And a pan coating spray is a great way to keep oil out of your diet, and there's so much fat in the oil that this is a great way to reduce fat in your diet overall. So let's go ahead and spray pan, and we're just coating it nice and evenly. And now the first thing I like to put in is all of our side items that we're going to want to kind of sear. Our bell pepper. We've got our pan good and hot, obviously. I'm going to move it over to the side of here, just a little bit to the side so that it actually takes the heat down. And now put our beans in. We don't need the strainer anymore, so we can move that off to the side. And all we're doing is kind of tossing everything in there. Now we're going to put in our cilantro, about half of what we have. I want to save a little bit for presentation later. And that's fresh cilantro. We're going to sprinkle a little bit of cumin. Dry cumin. Again, no salt in here. Get it evenly over the beans. And then a little cracked black pepper. And listen, a couple different ways you can do this. I've taken the liberty of cracking this. Of course, nothing better than fresh cracked pepper. I wish you could get the aroma of this because I can already smell that cumin. And that's what gives it that wonderful kind of Spanish flair. So while we have this on the heat, we're going to turn that heat down on low, and we're going to go to the corn. Now, everybody knows that we have great resources for corn here, and Mississippi grown corn yields have more than doubled over the past 20 years and really are increasing faster than any other Mississippi crop. Mississippi growers have produced about 694,000 acres of corn over the past 5 years. Again, great local products. So let's take a little example of this so I can show you how easy this is to work with. And to literally take it off the cob, if you put your knife in at an angle and cut straight down, you've got the kernels coming off. I've taken the liberty of getting mine already off of a cob, but I wanted to show you just how simple it is to use fresh corn, because the exact same thing holds true for using fresh corn as it does fresh beans. Now let's go back into the pan over here. And we're going to let this all start cooking down at a very low temperature. And that relish is just a beautiful side dish that's going to go. And look at how much the color will enhance the dish too. So easy, simple preparation. And let's move this out of the way for now. Set our corn back over here. And what we're going to do, you know, one thing I wanted to mention as well, beans are a great choice for diabetics. Beans contain soluble fiber, which binds to carbohydrates, slows the absorption into the bloodstream, preventing swings in your blood glucose levels. Hugely important. 2010, Mississippi ranked second in the United States for overall diabetes prevalence, with over 270,000 adults having type 2 diabetes. So obviously, huge issue of trying to reduce it, and diabetes it's actually preventable, and a lot of the focus needs to be on your diet. So obviously, we'll focus on that this season. Now, tossing that relish, we want that corn to brown just a little bit, and we can take our spray at this point, actually spray the top, and the reason that we're doing that so that it'll create a little bit of a crust. And we're just going to we're really just going to let that sit at this point, and the flavors will all cook down. Now, the next item that we're going to walk into is making a homemade salsa. And let's take this point right now, and when I come back, we're going to use some fresh fish from the Mississippi Gulf to make these delicious fish tacos. So stay with us.
That day is all about celebrating American agriculture, about celebrating our American farmer, all the hard work he does producing our food and fiber. And it's about showcasing our local farmers. Most children think right now their food just comes off the grocery shelf or from a fast food restaurant. They need to know more about it, about how it's grown, how to prepare it, and what better to do it, you know, than at Ag Day to teach them how to do some of those things. One of the things I did with Vermeer composting is learning how earthworms take old compost, like food scraps, and turn it into good, usable soil. And the 5-glove activity, they were just learning about the different seeds they can put in the gloves so they can grow some of the lettuces and things like that.
Well, we're just trying to make people aware of what's available, sort of when it's going to be available, and really sort of let the kids actually see the raw vegetable. They come by and then they ask questions and I sort of tell them how it's grown. They get to actually see the person that grew the vegetables and they know whether or not it's fresh.
One dairy we had here was Progress Dairy. They had whole milk, they had reduced fat milk and chocolate milk. And it's pasteurized, not homogenized. And so therefore you can digest it a lot easier than you can homogenized milk. We had several shelves from local restaurants teaching people some of their new recipes. It's important for you to shop at the local farmers market to help your local farmers out, but you get fresh produce, fresh eggs, without having to wait on them. They're grown right here local. Just eat fresh, eat local. It's better for your health.
Welcome back. All right, now for a healthy homemade salsa. Obviously, the most important thing we start with is a beautiful ripe tomato. This is a vine-ripe tomato I got at our local farmer's market, and it's really easy to work with them. You literally take a knife and core the center. And as you're coring that, you're going to notice the one little piece of the tomato that you really don't want will come right out. And then we're going to take it, slice it in half again, and literally at this point, I love my cleaver, so I'm going to put this into little line stripes, chop the other direction, and we're going to do this with the entire tomato to where we have nice little squares, because this is really the garnish, if you would, for our taco. And let's do this other half kind of quickly here. And I know as you guys watch this show, you're going to want to learn to get a little bit more proficient with a knife. And it's really not hard. It just takes a little bit of practice. I love the cleaver because you see how easy it is. You can take and clean that board so quickly. And let's just quickly sanitize that board. Now, we're going to add into that mixture lemon and lime. And that gives a great little tartness. So let's come back out, squeeze our lime, and squeeze both halves. Then the same with the lemons, and on the lemons, if you do them facing up, you're less likely to have the seeds go inside. Neat little trick. Simple. All right, now, let's get those out of the way. And here's my unique ingredient, which is some fresh ground applesauce. And you'll see it's red. It's got the skin of the apple because that's where most of the nutrients are. Let's stir this up a little bit at this point. And you notice it's got a great liquidy consistency. And we're going to serve this on the side of our dish. Now let's add in the flavor. We're going to put in about a teaspoon, so about half of this, chopped fine jalapeno, little touch of cumin, and that little touch of cumin is about a half a teaspoon. Diced onion, tablespoon. Chopped cilantro, a good amount, and that's about a tablespoon. And, you know, neat to think about something with all those people out there concerned about gluten is you're making literally gluten-free food. We're going to put in our garlic minced. And I tell you, that is a delicious homemade salsa that's going to go great with our fish tacos. And you notice it's different than the type of salsa that you would make that's going to go with chips because it's chunkier. You know, you want this to be kind of bite-sized pieces to go into the taco. So now what we're going to do is take a portion of this because it's going to go right onto the plate when we present this dish. And keep that to the side. So wonderful preparation, very easy to do. Let's move and do a little housekeeping here. And we're going to keep that on the side. Do our sanitizing, keep that board a little clean here. Our next item, and you know, fish in general is a great source of protein. Whitefish in particular. Whitefish is also a great source of B vitamins and selenium, which is great for your skin. So, we're using grouper today, and the grouper is fresh from our Gulf. Look at that, beautiful fillet. All right, I have taken the liberty of filleting that. And where we're going to go is to bring a saute pan over. We're going to spray with a little bit of our pan coating. Put a little cracked pepper. And you know what the pepper does? It's a trick that I learned years ago. A very light pepper crust will help keep it from sticking. So let's go ahead, because the flavoring that we're going to add in to that pan while that is cooking is going to really add in all of what we want to kind of put into the taco itself. So as we move this, once it slides around, it's easy and you know it'll stay there. So let's bring out our next little array of food. And we're going to add a little of fat-free dairy products to the side so you're staying nice and healthy. But the main items to flavor inside the taco, we've got red, green, and yellow bell pepper, julienne sliced so it'll look pretty, onions julienne sliced, and our garlic. So at this point, we're going to turn the heat up on that to high so the fish is kind of seared on one side. We're going to add our bell pepper, onion, red and yellow, and that plate just kind of comes to life when you see all these beautiful fresh vegetables. Such a wonderful way to learn to cook when you have fresh vegetables instead of canned. A pinch more of pepper. And my favorite of all time ingredients, have to have garlic. And we're going to put in a good tablespoon of garlic and we mix it around in the pan. And just like we did earlier, we can take that pan spray, spray the top of those vegetables so that when they turn over in the pan, they'll cook nicely. Now the fish is already starting to turn nice and white. We're going to actually turn that fish over. And look at that. It's browned just perfectly in the pan. And ultimately, we're going to break that fish apart. And that does two things for you. It helps to be sure that the fish cooks thoroughly all the way through. And it will blend all the flavors of these incredible vegetables where they need to be. So let's go ahead at this point, and I take my tongs and the spatula, and we're going to just kind of pull that grouper apart in the middle. And it will cook a little bit quicker this way. And it really is such an incredible light white fish. And more importantly, right here from our own Gulf. That's what I love. Nice and local. Going to take just a dash of water. Move that fish around a little bit so it's all coated. And again, it's one of those times when you wish you could get the aroma at home because the aroma is incredible. And as pretty as that is, it tastes even better. So what you've done, you've eliminated beef out of your taco. You eliminated the fat that cooks with the beef. You added in delicious, healthy, fresh Mississippi Gulf fish, which I love. I love to use them. I use them in almost every dinner party I do. And at this point, you could add just a touch, and I use this light seasoned oil, and we're going to have less than half a teaspoon. And you'll see all that does is give a little added flavor while we're keeping our fat content to a bare minimum. All right, and I tell you what, believe it or not, that is how quickly the fish will cook. And when we come back, I'm going to flip these whole grain tortillas in a pan to brown them and put this whole plate together. So check us out on Facebook. All right, well, welcome back. And at this point in time, I have my whole grain tortillas. And what I want to do with those is lightly brown those in a pan and get their flavor. Now, I've got a very warm pan here in the center. So we're going to take these, throw them in the pan, put a little additional of that pan spray, throw these in the side, and at this point we're going to kind of move those around so each one has a chance to actually warm in the bottom of the pan. Let's go back over to our corn and bean relish, which looks incredible. It's basically done, so we can turn that heat off. And our grouper's completely finished. So let's, at this point, start thinking about how we're going to put our plate together. And to do that, we're going to take our tortillas. Oh yeah, they look great on this side. You see how they've browned. And we don't want them to brown too much. Very important you don't overcook them, because if you do, you can't form them into the nice little pocket that we want. So let's take 3. Set them in the center. Now we're going to take our grouper, bell pepper, garlic, cumin, all that great flavoring, and put in the middle of each. So then we're going to kind of fold them up nice and light. God, the aroma. This is where I really wish you could get the aroma of what is cooking here. The aroma is incredible. Smell that cumin, that garlic, the onion, all of that great stuff. Okay, and at this point, we're going to move these over, kind of fold them over, so that they take about a half portion of the plate. And doing this at home, you can have fun at this point with your guests. Bring them in the kitchen, let them make their own. What a great way to have a fun party. Now we're going to take and put our lettuce here on one side, and that shredded lettuce can go into those. And fat-free sour cream right on top, just like you would get in a restaurant. And fat-free shredded cheddar cheese. So you know those are all the good toppings that you want to have when you're having tacos. And this way you're doing it with no calories. We've got our salsa on the side, and I'm going to have a little fun here. Take one. Let's turn that around so you can really see. Put a little bit in one of these just so you've got an idea how it'll look when it's finished. Turn it back over. And you know, I think we're going to do a little bit in each, and then if you want to add more, you can do that. Little of the salsa. And last little bit of relish here, and look how pretty that plate is. And let's talk about the nutritional information for this dish. 526 calories, 35 grams of carbohydrates, 47 grams of protein, 20 grams of fat, and 3 grams of fiber. So a good source of protein for sure. Unbelievable how healthy fish is. And thanks for tuning in to Fit to Eat. You guys enjoy it, and just enjoy. Remember, substituting fish for ground beef, it's a great way to go, guys. Enjoy it.